together! Stop stealing children! Keep families 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 together! No justice! No peace! 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 Stop stealing children! Keep families together! Stop stealing children! Keep families together! Stop stealing children! Keep families together!
For the children, this rally against injustice to our children, this rally that's trying to keep families together, this rally that's trying to preserve community, because without children and family, we have no community. Turn around, y'all, we gonna get started soon. That's why we here at the state capitol talking to Batman, Gavin Newsom, right? That's right, that's right. So, I want to thank everybody for coming out here to support Families Resist Coalition, FRC. I am Jamil Patterson. I am the Associate Director of the New Community Leadership Foundation in San Francisco, California. And I am here in solidarity with Families Resist Coalition, which is at the heartbeat of the struggle against the CPS, family court, and child support injustice. And see, what's interesting is these type of struggles bring us all together, of different races, different classes, right? Because the system is supposed to work for us, not against us. So, before we get started, I would like to give some shots out. And when I give these shots out, I want y'all to cheer, right? Because we're all here in solidarity. So, I want to give shots out to California Families Rise. That's right, make some noise. I want to give a shout out to Truth and Justice and Child Support Coalition. I want to give a shout out to Sacramento and Monterey homeless unions. I want to give a shout out to both sides of the conversation in this nation for collaboration. And we're about to do something amazing. I want to give a shout out to Operation Stop CPS. I want to give a shout out to Senator Nancy Skinner. Now, it's too long that these services, whether it's CPS, child support, or family court, or whatever else, has been working against us. And see, we need accountability. Where there's no accountability, the system will break the law. Right? So we need accountability. And the only way to have accountability is if we are together as we and being involved. So, thank y'all for coming to the rally. With that, I want to invite Fred Stasek. Yay! Come on, Fred. Hey, you gotta love a man in all black.
most people. Most of us value our families above all else. Let me ask you something. Do you love your family?
Yeah!
Do you care for your family?
Yeah!
Do you love your children?
Yeah!
Do you want your children back?
Yeah!
Damn straight. Even presidents have extolled the glory of family and the pain of its loss. The problem I'm here to talk about is that there is a state institution that rips families to shreds on little more than a whim. That institution is CPS. They wield great power, and that power is greatly misused, despite their earnest assurances. Of that, I am an eyewitness and a victim. My severely ill son was abused almost to death in a hospital, in a respected institution. He had an illness akin to long COVID. I begged for him to be released. One doctor agreed and helped me make an outside appointment. The other doctor called CPS. They took my son in his greatest hour of pain and need. They inflicted much harm, suffering, and pain that served no beneficial purpose to him. He is permanently disfigured, disabled, and traumatized as a result. It took 10 years to get my son back. It took 10 years for my son and I to reunite and reestablish our trust in our family. CPS forcefully robbed my son of his health, of his trust, of his physical integrity, of his family. These are the people who are supposed to be protecting him. They didn't protect him. They abused him with such cruelty as I have never witnessed in my long life, and their only concern was that I not say so. In the years since, I have talked to hundreds of other victims of this sort of gross violation of our dignity and rights. It is par for the course for CPS custody. So one has to ask, how is this even possible? How can a government agency just willfully, cruelly, and arbitrarily destroy that which we value above all else? Our families. I want to give hope on this matter. Indeed, our practice as a nation has been to resolve the hypocrisies of the past through honest effort and true spirit. As a nation, we have righted our wrongs over time, much of them, and that is what I hope to see as regards CPS wrongs and their practice of ripping families to shreds for false and frivolous reasons. An enabling factor of this wrongdoing is the use of secrecy and lies. It is the veil of confidentiality. Oh, if the veil of confidentiality were lifted and the cruel practices of this industry exposed, there would be so much less abuse and so much better outcomes. President Biden has said, the best disinfectant is sunlight. Nowhere is this principle more needed than in the domain of CPS. The solution is obvious. Let the sun shine in. We need to change the laws governing confidentiality to address the very real rot of this sector. We will be working with our lawmaker friends to achieve that end. This rally is part of that effort to change the laws, change the practices, and right the wrongs. We're here for family justice. We're here for family freedom. We're here to demand that the principles of our great nation be honestly enacted, not secretly defied and defiled. This is our quest. And I promise you, we will succeed. Make no mistake, this is no passing matter. I thank you all for your commitment, for your boots on the ground today, and for never giving up. God bless the heroes of freedom.
Give it up for Fred Stacy. He's been fighting against the system of corruption for 15 years. And as you know, he's he's a father as well. So, you know, something I've learned, right? And this is a politic that they spread for division. And that's me being for my community means I'm against your community. And that's how they get us to fight each other. So that they can make all of the decisions. But really we find out that we got common interests. Right? So, hey sister, what's that chant?
Stop stealing children! Keep families together!
Keep families together. Stop selling the children. Come on, get it crunk.
Keep families together!
Keep
stealing children! Keep families together! Stop stealing children!
Keep families together.
Stop stealing children!
Keep families together.
Stop stealing children!
Keep families together.
Stop stealing children!
All right. Without further ado, I'm finna invite to the stage a woman who has worked for the federal child support program for 15 years and is now a member of the Truth and Justice Child Support Coalition. Give it up for Rachel Freitas. Come on, Ray. Hey, you gotta love her. She got heart on her chest, right? She wears it on her chest, y'all. Come on, give it up for Rachel.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming today. I wanted to talk just for a couple of minutes about child support and the work right now going on to reform the child support program. So I'm a member of the Truth and Justice and Child Support Coalition, which is a coalition of over 50 organizations that are working together to create and seek equitable reform of the child support program and reduce child poverty in California. So let's start off with the issue. For many families, child support payments are not going to the kids. They're not going to the families. They're being intercepted by the state to pay back the costs of public assistance. For low-income families, California each year keeps about $350 million of child support payments. These are parents' hard-earned funds that they want to go directly to their kids, but it's intercepted by the state from low-income families. And then if a parent cannot afford to pay the child support, a debt accrues. And here in California, the state tax adds on a 10% interest rate. So it balloons very quickly, and it's incredibly burdensome. Sending 100% all of child support directly to families will benefit over 230,000 families here in California. It's essential we get these funds directly to the kids who deserve it the most. So I want to celebrate a few legislative wins we've had, and then to also talk about what are our priorities moving forward. So we're coming off of 3 years of legislative success. Most recently this year, Senator Skinner and the budget team put in the 2022 to 2023 budget full pass-through of child support. So this means that starting July of next year, child support funds will stop being intercepted by the state for families that formerly used to be on public assistance on CalWORKs and will go directly to families. And by 2025, families that are currently on public assistance will receive their child support funds, payments. So this is by 2025, this is $350 million each year that will be going to families directly. And we say a huge thank you to Senator Skinner and her team for leading the effort and recognizing how unjust it is for the state to intercept child support dollars. On top of that, 2 bills passed this legislative session that will also improve the child support program. Senator Kamlager's SB 1055 will stop the harmful suspension of driver's license from parents that owe child support debt. So this means that any low-income parent with a household income at or below 70% of the median county income will not have their driver's license suspended.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So thank you, Senator Comlager, for leading the way and recognizing how harmful it is to suspend driver's license
Thank you.
from hardworking parents. In addition, Assemblymember Bryan's AB 1686 bill passed, which will stop the practice of DSS referring families to child support for enforcement when their children are in foster care for state recoupment of costs. So there will no longer be an issue. There will no longer be referrals to child support, expecting families when their children are in foster care to also be paying the state for that time. Families need to be focused on getting and being reunified with their kids during this especially difficult time.
Yeah.
There should be no expectation to pay back the state.
Yeah.
So thank you, Assemblymember Bryan, for leading the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
So today we're celebrating these amazing wins, but also recognizing there's more work to be done. We have 4 priorities for the coming year. First of all, we want to eliminate the existing government-owed child support debt for low-income parents. As I said earlier, there's this 10% interest rate, so it makes child support debt balloon incredibly quickly. And this is debt owed to the government. It's not owed to the other parent. We want the state of California to recognize that this is incredibly burdensome to low-income parents and to forgive this debt and allow them to move forward and not have to worry about it. It's almost $6.5 billion here in California that is owed to the state for child support. In addition, we want to lower this 10% interest rate. It's an egregious rate, and we want it to be a lower value so that debt doesn't accumulate so quickly. We also want to resolve the currently suspended driver's license because, as I said, AB 1686 will stop the suspension of driver's license moving forward. But for those parents currently impacted by having a suspended driver's license, we want to resolve that issue and give them their license back.
Yes.
And then finally, we want to advocate for true child support orders that are based on a parent's ability to pay. Not a high amount that parents cannot afford, but an amount that they really can afford, because we know all parents love their kids, want to support their kids, but we've had the state getting in the way, and we want to stop that. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here.
Hey, give it up for Rachel Fritas! Make it loud, y'all! She got the heart on her chest. Now, you know, something interesting, right? We did elect the Terminator to be governor twice, right? So they all want us serving the machines, right? And, you know, with my people, of course, I'm African American, you see it. So, you know, we were once slaves in this country, and they would take our children and sell them and all across the country. But we're supposed to be correcting these things, right? If we're not correcting these things, then we're regressing, we're going back. Do we want to go back?
No!
Do we want to go back?
No!
Yes, yes. And now we got Batman as the governor. So Batman, we need some justice. So, up next, we got a brilliant organizer, writer, impacted parent, and she's also the founder of California Family Rise. California Families Rise. Hold on. Hey, make some noise for California Families Rise. Make some more noise. All right, so give it up for this magical woman right here, Michelle D. Chan of the Chan clan.
So how many of you standing before me today have had your lives destroyed by Child Protective Services, family court, or the child support system. These are systems of family policing, and they are deeply flawed. They pass themselves off as helping systems. In truth, family destruction in itself is child abuse. And the oppression of non-custodial parents is cruel and unjust. For too long, we, the impacted families, have stood in isolation. Alone, we have fought and lost. Alone, we have been silenced. Alone, we've hid in darkness while our children suffered. Alone, we lose. But when we stand in unity, we can and we will win. You know, this isn't my fight. This is our fight. And whether it's CPS, our family court, our child support services, or the probate court, we all must unite in our fights. We face a common enemy. The courts. The agencies that lie, cheat, steal, and profit off of our children's pain. Let the age of family rights begin. Today we are here to send a message to the entire world that the families are uniting and we are coming for our children. We're coming for our grandchildren. Our brothers, our sisters, our nieces, our nephews. We are coming for our grandparents, our mothers, our fathers, our aunts, our uncles, and we are not going to stop. Until we are victorious. And so today, we, the impacted families, we urge the California State Legislature to please sponsor our proposed legislation, inspired by the San Francisco case of my dear friend Christine. So here's the gist of it. Families belong together. And family bonds are worth preserving. We must limit the unnecessary termination of parental rights. And absent of sincere efforts to maintain familial ties, courts should not be allowed to permanently sever children from their parents. Courts should be required to order maximum visitation no matter which city or town or county they happen to have been snatched from. So this is our vision in codifying the California Supreme Court ruling in Re Caden C. You know, my own son spent 6 long months in foster care. And for so many months after he came home, he woke up in the night screaming. Years have gone by. And you know, till this day when I close my eyes, I still hear his screams. And I can still feel his pain. And I know that if the governor or if anyone in the California State Legislature could have heard my son's tormented cries, that they would sponsor our proposed legislation. And they would include a provision in the 2023 budget to increase parent-child visitation. And so today I'm going to close with a poem that I wrote, inspired by Maya Angelou's Still I Rise. CPS, you tried to break us with your bitter, twisted lies, manipulations of the truth. You may try to shoot us down. You may hit us where it hurts. You may try to destroy us with your hate. But still, in pitch dark, light finds a way. The moon and the stars will light the night. and from dust we will rise. The families have united, and together from dust we rise. We rise. We rise.
We rise!
Thank you.
Hey, you know, I'm an 80s kind of guy. Hey, keep families together.
Children.
Stop selling the children. Keep families together. Keep families together.
Stop selling the children.
Keep families together.
Stop selling the children.
Right, give it up. So you know, right? And this is one of the reasons why we down here too, right? All of this. You know that they project how many prisons are going to be built off of third grade test scores.
Oh, wow.
Right? So when I talk about machines, yeah, they all want us to be cycled into the machine. School to prison pipeline trajectory. And when you separating families, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because parent bond is one of the most essential bonds in your life. Right? So if they're disrupting that when children are coming into the world, they're trying to make sure we go back and don't have a future. Her case is in R, Canton, C, and it's set the parental benefit precedent. And I want y'all to give it up for Christine! Yes. Is that purple? Is that purple? You know, purple stands for royalty, y'all.
All right.
For Christine!
My name is Christine, and my case in Ray, Caden C. set precedent in the California State Supreme Court. My case has overturned hundreds of parents' parental right terminations and appeals, creating a parental benefit exception that overrides the supposed benefit of adoption versus permanency, as they call it. I can't think of any better way to express to you how important this parental benefit exception is, other than to read the letter from my son. Dear Your Honor, I want to go back to my mom's so much. I would cry probably every day in the shower, like I do right now at Maggie's house. I miss my mom every day, and I want to go back to my mom's heck a lot. And she would do a lot of things for me. She loves me so much too, more than you can even believe. I would rather torture myself than not go back to her. I really would. That's actually the truth. I miss her so much. She is the nicest person I've ever met. Instead of visits with my mom, I want to spend nights, at least one. If you can't do that, then we can stay at regular visits. I want to live with my mom so much. I wish you really, really, really pick for me to go back to my mom's. And my mom makes me eat food before I get junk. She makes perfect food that I love. She is perfectly fine, and I love her more than she can think, and she loves me more than I can think. And I wish you really believe this note, which I did. Please believe, even though Miriam wrote it, I said the words, and I love my mom, and I want to go back to her.
All right. Christine, love you.
Thank you. Yeah, so from To Governor Newsom, from the bottom of my heart, I ask, children need more visits with their parents, and parents need more visits with their children. And Senator Skinner, we appreciate you so much. Please sponsor the bill inspired by my son's case in Ray, Caden C. Thank you.
Keep that going, man. A little bit more. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's do that together. In the river. In a little tent. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come, y'all. Yes, it is. All right, y'all. Don't let me stop the party. Hey, we singing together, coming together, just like the walls of Jericho, right?
Amen.
Yeah, right? Because our voice counts, our voice matters.
Yeah.
Because again, we're here for accountability.
Yeah.
Accountability, right? And right? The saying, don't take no for an answer.
No.
Right? Because sometimes they'll tell you anything. And that no might not be the answer.
No, it's not the answer.
Give it up for Christine, y'all. I like that, sister. No, it ain't the answer. All right, so without further ado, she was the Western Regional Director for the National Union of the Homeless, President Sacramento Homeless Union, and Families Resist co-sponsor. Give it up for Crystal Sanchez. Oh, very beautiful dress too. I love it. Yeah, she looked like a little mermaid, y'all.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Let's get everybody excited. The people united will never be divided. People united will never be divided. People united will never be divided. Awesome. So with that, my name is Crystal Sanchez, and I'm the Western Regional Director for the National Union of the Homeless and the President of Sacramento Homeless Union. But more than that, I come forward as an impacted voice and a voice who is seeing the horrific abuses on a daily basis of families being torn apart. Child Protective Services has been in my life for as long as I can remember. As a child of incarcerated parents, as a child of guardianship, as a ward of the court, as an incarcerated youth, as a former foster group home youth, as a temporarily incarcerated adult, as an unhoused individual, and being a mama of 4, CPS has been there every aspect of that. For those who say Child Protective Services is broken, we must educate and reevaluate that statement and understand that terminology. Child Protective Service works exactly how it was created and designed to. It is adopted and rooted through systemic racism. Through a whitewashed system of laws and policies that continue to take away from the family structure, primarily in our Black and brown communities, but across the board. Child Protective Services is the largest human trafficking ring there is, and it is legitimized, I can't talk today, through laws and policies that come through and are enforced by law enforcement, hospitals, judges, unrepresented parents, and trained attorneys of the system who knows how to deprive families of their rights. Or we will not say that this abuse does not happen and that children do not need to be protected at times. But what we will say is that the system of Child Protective Services is not doing the work. They are taking children from families who fall upon hard times, and instead of giving them a hand up, they are working to revoke parental rights and placing children with foster families in their money laundering scheme. I don't want to take too long, so I'm going to talk about two topics: my personal involvement with CPS and what we are seeing in our homeless and poor communities. Today, I stand here suffering from PTSD, diagnosed by doctors. My PTSD is triggered by law enforcement, according to that diagnosis. My earliest memories was being 6 years old, hiding in a closet with my newborn sister, being confronted by guns and flashlights pointed at my face when SWAT team opened the closet door. We were removed from the situation and placed with a family member who had just as many addiction issues as my parents did, which later turned into multiple interactions with CPS. At age 14, I was removed from that situation, as a long list of reports about me from the school that I attended showed abuse. I was immediately thrown into the foster care situation, which I gained a criminal record of grand theft auto, possession of an illegal weapon, possession of drug paraphernalia, and being affiliated with a known gang. Mind you, I was running the streets with my foster family. I was violently assaulted in my foster home before I went to court around my case. This immediately placed me as a ward of the court and threw me into juvenile hall. And from this point, I was then placed into multiple group homes, ending up in high level, meaning lockdown group homes. Just to remind you, I was a good kid, put in a situation that changed my life forever. What many people don't know, if you are a foster group home youth, immediately, when you are an adult and you have a baby, you get an open case. Now being somebody who has went through the situation, now being that somebody that's gone through this situation, we have that immediate fear that every time we have a child, CPS is going to show up. Through the history of my past, I have gone through horrific, long, drawn-out custody situations in which I remain in custody of all my children, except one who happened to have a grandfather who was in law enforcement. Anyone can call and make a report for abuse. It's recorded and it's used against you. What we are seeing within our homeless community is tragic. It is violent. Again, what we're seeing is violence of our systems not supporting those who have lost everything, cannot even be put in adequate words at this point. They are killing our society through separation of families, removals of dads, removal of mothers and families, and permanent displacement, while collecting money off of the situations. Currently in California, there's about 175,000 people living on the streets, which includes thousands and thousands of children. Many of these children are staying in tents near schools, and they're being put in the middle of sweeps, which is when law enforcement comes and takes all your belongings, including your shelter, and tells you to move along. Parents are unable to keep children in school, which then goes through the child welfare system of truancy. We are seeing law enforcement befriending families with children and then showing up with CPS and removing them. Mind you, they cannot remove them specifically for living in a tent, but encampments form together to protect each other. So enforcement is getting parents for child endangerment, for being near needles, people with felonies, etc. This is absolutely something parents cannot get around as the homeless and housing crisis continues to hit record levels. They're also getting them for lack of food. There is no place for parents to go where they can bring their children. Not even loaves and fish is our only situation here in Sacramento, as children are not allowed on the premises. If you are homeless, you often cannot afford gas. Even if you do not abuse your children, they are making you go to parenting classes, drug classes, and all of these other classes, and making you jump through hoops that are impossible. God forbid you miss one of your meetings. You won't see your child ever again. Social workers continue to threaten the parents and fast-track adopt the children. We are creating a society of families, separation, and trauma. There are thousands and thousands of children in foster group home systems, and twice as many parents fighting to get their kids back, who often end up failing because they don't have legal representation. So just continue to keep fighting. Just understand that the system is corrupt on this level, but it's also really bad for kids that are in these systems. Thank you.
Keep family together. There's a strong woman right there. Keep family together.
Stop selling the children.
Keep family together.
Stop selling the children. Oh. Come on. Just say what you feel, baby.
Hi, my name is Leah. Hi, Leah. Hi. I have a 3-year-old son. And he's with my sister right now, actually, but she's just as bad as Deb, really, to tell you the truth. I did everything I could I did everything, and one little mistake. I did everything for a year and a half, jumping through their hoops for a year and a half straight. And one little mistake just messed everything up. I don't know, they took my baby. Thank God they gave him to my sister, you know, but same thing with her, like they corrupted her mind too, you know, and I don't know, I just want my baby. I lost my rights, you know. I wish I knew then what I know now, like, so I can go back and do something different. I mean, if I could do it all over again, I would, in a heartbeat.
It ain't over.
You know, I mean, I'm going through a appeal right now. Me and my boyfriend are going through an appeal for him, which I doubt because Yolo County, how Yolo County is, I don't know if any other counties are like this, but it's just wrong, you know, it's not right. And I'm sorry to everybody who's lost their children too, because nobody deserves this at all. Like, and if me coming up here right now does anything to help anybody in the future, even, you know, that's what I'll do. And that's all I gotta say.
Keep families together.
Stop stealing children.
Keep families together.
Stop stealing children.
And I was off script, y'all, but you know, when it's all natural, man, sometimes it's the best. Next, we want to call up the co-founder of Parents Against CPS Corruption and Keep Families Together.
Stop selling the children.
Shantae Foster. She almost don't need a mic.
We love you, Shanta.
We love you, Shantae.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
From this nice book that I read before, it says, if God could be for you, who could be against you?
Amen.
Yes. And my name is Shantae Foster, and CPS has been separating families for years. I have been involved with the CPS system for over 15 years, getting my family separated and keeping them separated. Due to false allegations, false reports, no real investigations by CPS social workers who commits perjury, and they have false documents to kidnap our children all across the globe on purpose. This is why Michelle Chan and I put together a PAC, which is now called California Family Rise. Today, together, Michelle and I had to encourage each other with some tough love. We still fighting all the time. Michelle and I came together with just two of us at first in front of 400 McAllister for almost a year. We would go there every Tuesday and Thursday and try to rally up people and how to help people and tell them stop stealing our children. And now look at us. Hey, there we go. Okay, together we formed a family, a group of love and caring parents who are fighting to see and be with their children. Visitation is an essential part to families. It would be a huge impact on a family's life, emotionally, mentally, physically, and social well-being. Not being able to be with your family is traumatizing. It burns, if y'all know how that feels.
Oh, yeah.
Foster care is an out-of-care placement. Our children are placed with strangers, they are abandoned, and they are kidnapped. I myself would love to smell Barbie. She's 10 years old. She's in foster prison. I want to touch her. I'm sure a lot of people want to touch and feel their kids too. It's like somebody wanting their mom or dad real bad, you know, and you can't have them, but at the end of the day, you really, really want them. That's how our foster prison kids feel. I had to pay like so much money in child support, and you know, I don't even have a job. I'm on low income myself or whatever, so I don't know how they give low income parents child support payments or whatever while your children are in foster care, because I never asked nobody to take my child to foster care to pay for child support. You know? I don't know why I gotta pay for child support and I can't see her, can't touch her, can't smell her, can't be with her, so I'm not paying it. So to Gavin Newsom, we want to tell him happy belated birthday first, because his birthday was October 10th. And we asked Gavin Newsom, the governor, because he has the power to change. He has the power to stop separating families and to keep families together. Starting with visits, that would be fine. More visits, more essential visits, more home visits. Yeah, that's not enough. Gavin Newsom, we need you to help stop the separation of families. I'm here to ask you to meet our demands to stop the separation of families, stop CPS from wrongly evaluating children, and to please help us cancel this child support debt. I can't afford to pay $6,000 plus every day and add on with a job of low-income people. So I'm asking them and Skeezer, whatever that name was, Skinner, to help keep families together and stop the separation of children. And what they said, all things are possible with those who love the Lord. So we gonna all get our family back to one day and we all gonna be together because God don't sleep for nothing. He's always woke. Woo! Thank you.
Give it up for Shante!
Stop stealing children! Keep families together! Stop stealing children!
Keep families together!
Stop stealing children!
Keep families together.
Stop stealing children!
All right, our next set of speakers are here to speak about child support.
Yes, yes.
Yes. And it's a very important issue. So up next is a CPS and child support.
She couldn't make it. Skip to the next one.
And is the voice for her husband, who is a child support impacted father.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, she couldn't make it either. She's sick. Uh-oh.
So it's not going to be a woman. So next we got a child impacted father,
Sorry, guys.
Paul Guevara.
So I'm just gonna read this out, and it kind of meant a lot to me, and I put a lot of heart into this. I hope you guys appreciate it. So here goes. Hello, my name is Paul Guevara. I was recently given the opportunity to speak in front of the state Senate and in front of the state Assembly about child support reform with full undivided attention. And on September 30th, 2022, this year at 10:17 a.m., I received this text message. Paul, this is Mike Hurld from Western Center. I am happy to report that the governor signed Senate Bill 1055 last night. Low-income parents will no longer get their driver's licenses suspended anymore for falling behind in their child support. Thank you so much for testifying in support of the bill.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
It's fun to change the world, isn't it? We are the first state in the country to do this. We made history. And with that, I'll say thank you, Senator Kamlager, for endorsing this bill. And then from there, I'm going to talk about, well, not yet. At this moment, a strange reality kicked in, a moment where I thought about my friends Michelle, about my friend Bob, about my friend Shane, and about all the people who thought we were insane and that justice will never be served, and about all the people who casted doubts about our ways of advocacy, about our ways of protesting in front of courthouses, and on our ways of lobbying the legislature, and the way we united together. After all this had been said and done, I'd like to talk to you about my hardships and a living nightmare I have endured for the last 10 years. On June 17, it was the day of my firstborn was born. I was a full-time student working part-time, knowing I had a child on the way. I dropped out of school and decided to take up a full-time job. I wanted to be independent for me and my ex to move out of our parents' house because unfortunately they did not approve of our relationship at the time. Eventually it came down to me working full-time with lots of overtime. I bought a new car, I got us an apartment, I started buying all the things needed to prepare a home for a new incoming child attending my baby shower. I even attended my baby shower. When my child was born, a strange new reality kicked in, a reality that God, nature, and life said I was good enough to be a father. On the day my son was born, I held my son in my arms for the very first time. I told my kid's mom to rest up. It was amazing holding my son in my arms until he fell asleep with such comfort as if he was still in the womb. On that day, I made a pledge, an oath to take care of my son, a pledge, a bond that I took more seriously than any relationship or marriage. I pledged to be around for my kids because my father wasn't around. Soon after that, things changed between the mother and me, and I found out she was having an affair while I was putting all my attention to raising my kids in a proper community and household. That's where my child custody battle started. That's where all the lies and half-truths and exaggerations started. After divorce, nothing was ever the same. It's such an injustice that when my wife moved to Utah, she left with the children, half of everything I owned, and then because I lost, I was the one ordered to pay her. In my case, I was always there for my children. I never hit or abused my children, nor did I ever hit or abuse my ex, nor do I have a criminal record. Right after my divorce, my ex quit working because I was working full-time to support my kids and myself. From there, the judge made me a weekend father. Soon after, my ex filed to have some weekends to spend with the children. But by that point, I was only allowed to spend roughly about 1 month a year with my children for the last 10 years. My ex refused to work any job. To be honest, I fell behind 1 year of child support because I wanted to start studying law and to start protesting the courts. Honestly and frankly, studying law and protesting was more important to me than paying child support. I wanted to study law because I wanted to learn my real rights as a parent. I wanted to study law because I wanted to be involved in my children's lives. The state never forgave me for that. And because the child support accrued so much, I could never pull myself together, and it was working a minimum wage job. Soon after my children had suffered the consequences with me, we couldn't drive anywhere. We had to walk like my kids to ride bikes and literally cry in the sun or cold. I'm not a deadbeat dad, I'm beaten dead dad. And it wasn't my ex that caused it, it was the state. My struggles continue on to this day. If I were allowed to make such a demand and a call to action, I would say this to the legislature. Get your hands out of my pockets, give me my children back. Stop being a deadbeat draconian legislature. Statistics have shown that all these past laws cause more damage to children and society as a whole, and outright for the majority of it. Most of all, these laws have been unenforceable and ineffective. To conclude, please stop profiting off of children, and Governor, I beg you to cancel government debt, owed debt. None of that money is going to the children anyhow. Thank you for your time.
Give it up to Paul Gavana. Hey, I want y'all to say, get your hands out of our pocket.
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 That's from the words of Paul Gavana. Say it one more time. All right, so.
Nosotros, las familias más unidas. Nosotros, las familias más fuertes. Sí se puede.
But with that, we got Captain America came up here. We got Batman in the Capitol. Hey, sí se puede. Sí se puede. Captain, hey, next we got up. Hey, he came dressed for the occasion, man. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, next we got Captain America. AKA Jason D'Souza. And I am the Black Panther, y'all.
Dear Abba Father, I just thank you for everybody over here, and I thank you that you love everybody right over here and our children. And we give you everything we can to get back to our children. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right. So the number one reason that dads and parents do not have a relationship with our children is because of child support. It's all about money, Title 4D. The family courts come in and they ransom and abduct our children, and unless if we pay money and we do what they want, we will never be able to see our children again. I'm a father with no criminal record, and I have a lifetime restraining order to be 100 yards away from my son. And the judge said that my words are a weapon and I post crap on the internet. I was an editor for the California Fathers' Rights Movement. The restraining order that was given to me was all false allegations. It was just the mom's word and what she said. No police reports, no doctor reports ever against me. And I had 2 witnesses proving that she was lying. Anyways, the judge, never met him in my life, first time ever meeting him. And he said about a dozen times, I do not care. And that's kind of what I deducted in the family court system. They don't care about anything except for the money, Title 4D. That's what it all comes down to. And my friend, his dad is a lawyer, and he had to go to court, and all the girls said, there was no romantic relationship, no children, but she just said, you know what, I heard a noise late at night at my house and I was afraid. He wanted to represent himself because his dad, he felt like if he said what his dad did, he would have gotten, he felt like it wasn't the truth. But he ended up getting a 1-year restraining order. So these restraining orders come so easily. All you have to do is just say that you're scared, and that is it. If there's children involved, you'll never see them again. And I've squandered everything that I have just because I love my son and I just want to be in his life. There's no jury, no chance of appeal, and I have to pay child support that I can't afford for a child I cannot see. And this is the paycheck that I got. It's for $284.62. There was a time where I was homeless and living in my car just to be in my child's life. And now I don't even own a car. I'm just on there by the mercy of friends and family. And yesterday I had Zoom court and I just asked the judge, all I want is just 5 seconds just to be able to tell my son that I love him. It's been 3 years. The last day I saw him was on Father's Day and I had all positive monitoring reviews. Can I at least just say, dear son, I love you? And I've just been denied. I'm not even allowed one phone call to let my son know that I love him.
Tell him right now.
Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, son, wherever you're at, I know you're here somewhere in California. I love you with all of my heart and I'll never give up trying to be in your life. And the reason I dress up as Captain America is because there are a bunch of fathers in England where they would have their children taken away by the family courts, and so they would dress up as superheroes. And I just thought, wow, that's inspiring. I want to do that. Like, what kind of craziness has come upon my life that I'm dressing up as Captain America, just wanting to just be in my son's life, just have a little buddy. So I love you, buddy.
For the kid.
The brother said, I gotta pay child support that I cannot afford for a child that I cannot see. Keep families together! Keep families together! Keep families together! Keep families together! Up next, we have a whistleblower. And he's been impacted by family court and child support. I want to bring up Mark Andrews. Oh yeah, he gets to speak. He said, I'm a father, you was coming, brother. In due time, in due time. Keep families together.
Stop selling the children.
Keep families together.
Stop selling the children.
There you go, brother.
Thank you. Let's hear it for the Black Panther here.
All right.
Nice loud voice for our cause. Because we're all impacted parents. I want to thank Michelle Chan and Fred, Rachel for the great news from the state legislature, because each one of these fights are won individually, one here, one there, because so many of them are lost. As you well know, I ran for Congress, and I could accept the fact that I lost my primary. And I will run again because I want to bring that Family Law Bill of Rights Act to the federal government to get the president to sign it so that all parents have a fair shot when walking into family court. Good news on the front. The mother I spoke about last time, Michelle Hollander, that I was helping her with her kids, we're taking Los Angeles County to court for defamation and slander, and we have a lawyer that has stepped in and wants to bring the cause. So we're going to have some proof now that CPS acts unjustly, because I am a court officer of 14 years, licensed and bonded in the state of California, and they made horrendous claims about me, and there's actually video evidence that they're lying. So we're going to have a good win there when it gets down the road. Also, my federal case, we have a federal lawyer that might be stepping in, and that's to go toward making judges accountable to the law. Federal Judge William Orrick III had the audacity to tell me in court that a state court commissioner had absolute immunity to violate my civil rights. I have documented proof. We put it online. Kids Matter, the wonderful nonprofit out of San Diego, helped with this appeal with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and hopefully we can get a published decision and we can start showing that these lawyers do not have the Teflon that they think, that if they do violate the law, if they commit the elements of a crime, they should be held accountable without immunity. We should be able to get a recourse when we are wronged in court, not just when we do something wrong. Us parents, we gotta stick together. Our kids are not for sale. Let me hear it.
Our kids are not for sale.
Come on, I'm in California. Our kids are not for sale.
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 And we're coming for accountability.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Now back to the Black Panther.
Yes. The Black Panther lives, y'all. All power to the people.
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 You know, watch out. They gonna think that we turn the clock back and bring it back to 60s, right?
Whoa.
I am my ancestors. Next, I want to call up Sabrina Williams. Come on up, sister.
Keep families together.
Stop selling children.
Keep families together. There you go, little sister.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sabrina, and I just want to say, what do we want? We want our children, right? When do we want them? Now! All right, we are all standing here impacted and hurt, tearing up. We don't know what to do. We can't tuck our babies in at night. We don't know what they're doing. We're wondering, like, is my baby okay? What's going on? It's just everything in a parent's mind, an impacted parent. There's no telling what an impacted parent is thinking. It's like they're trying to create criminals out of good people because they're taking something that belongs to us.
Amen.
And I just want to say that all you parents, we need to stick together and we need to fight for our babies because they're worth it. And they need to know that we're here for them and I'll fight for you. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care where I have to go. I'll go to the end of the world for my babies. Thank you.
Keep families together. Keep families together. Also, we have somebody here doing voter registration. She's in the blue. This is how we change laws, y'all. You know, you get out there and vote, or other people's votes are going to count more than yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, no, brothers and sisters. I've had it with this system. You know, my wife's dead now because of what they did. They took my kids away, and, you know, Christmas Eve, I'm alone in my house. A couple of years before, I had 2 kids. I had a wife that was alive. It's outrageous what they did to my family. Now, I happen to be an attorney, okay? And I've got some great ideas. One of them is a jury trial be brought into this court, all the doors opened up, and the judges, believe me, they hate jury trials. And they'll settle these cases, and they'll let parents keep their children. Why? Because they're lazy. And you know what? I'm so angry about this, and I finally found this group here. It's the first hearing I've ever, I mean the first protest I've ever been to. You know, you're all alone when you walk in that dependency court. And talk about perjury, which is a felony. I'm a criminal defense lawyer. I have to tell you, perjury happens every day in that court, and they use it to take your children away. And how about this one? The hearsay rule doesn't exist in family law court. That's very important because that's why the cops don't show up. You can't get a cop to go into a dependency court, but he'll write all this derogatory statements about your case. You'd think it was a totally different case, you know, going forward. And the only answer to this is jury trials, because I've seen how judges act, you know, if they have to go to trial. You know, they pressured me and then they turn around and they pressure the DA once they find out they can't convince me. We need to legally address this. We need to get good lawyers in the courts, independent from the county and cities. Because we don't need somebody hanging this stuff over. We need independent lawyers and trained lawyers to go after them. There's all kinds of rules. Like if you do what they tell you to do in the first 6 months at that first jurisdictional hearing, they give you your kid back. That's the biggest secret in that court. They never tell you that. The lawyers don't tell you. The prosecutors don't tell you. The judge doesn't tell you. If I'd known that, I'd still have my family. Maybe. I don't trust them at all. They're incompetent. And you have to realize, this is all based on the Adoption Safe Families Act, federal law passed in 1996. That's very important. There's a whole list of things parents can do in that law. You know, like raping the mother, molesting the kids. They got a whole list of these terrible things, reasons to take your kid away. And then, for the states, all they put in there for the states is a court of competent jurisdiction. Well, I tell you, dependency court is not competent jurisdiction. Let's throw them out. Let's throw these politicians out if they don't change, if they don't rewrite that law, and if they don't give us jury trials open to the public. Thank you.
Say it with me. Let's throw them out. Let's throw them out. Let's throw them out. I liked that, y'all, because you know, I heard silence. So y'all was listening to him. He was spitting some facts. I said he got the cue card on me. But next I want to call up Maya, Sister Maya. Yeah, Sister Maya. She's flyer. We going higher. Preaching to the choir. Yeah, and I also want to give respects to the Ohlone Indians. Her attire got me reminding me of that. They were the original inhabitants of California.
If thousands of people will protest police violence, then why not the destructions of families by CPS? How many of you protested the policing of families? CPS is just another way of policing. Those that protest the police should protest with us to bring our children home. We have to stop this police state because every child's lives matter all the time, not just when it's time to vote. Today, I am going to share my life story on how police brutality and misconduct led to the illegal removal of my child, Jemiah Mack Smith. Happy birthday to you, baby. Her birthday was October 20th. She just turned 13.
It's all right, baby. It's all right.
It's been my first birthday without her.
Take your time.
3 years ago, June 5th, 2019, me, my husband, and my 9-year-old child was parked at the 7-Eleven in the parking lot in the desert in the middle of nowhere, where my worst nightmare came true. The Palmdale Sheriff's Department harassed and violently attacked me and my family. 2 male officers parked their vehicle behind us. They approached the 7-Eleven. They got to the door and they seen us in our 4Runner. And they decided to come to our car instead. One officer asked my husband for his license and registration. Mind you, we're parked in a parking lot. My husband's response is to give them his identification, his tribal registration, his license registration, and the Constitution. The sheriff said the Constitution is fictitious. Then my husband asked for his ticket, and the sheriff responded with no consideration of my 9-year-old child in the back seat. They pepper sprayed us. They pepper sprayed her first because she was in the back. They pepper sprayed a line of pepper spray. In the driver's side, my husband was sprayed all in the face. One of the officers had a gun. My 9-year-old child was sprayed, eyes burning. She jumped out of the vehicle and ran to the first stranger she saw. The stranger turned her around and told her to go back to her attacker, the sheriff's department. The Palmdale Sheriff's Department broke our window.
It's all right.
They violently snatched me and my husband out of the car. Even after he asked for his ticket, they had no reason. Oh my gosh. They had no reason. They chose to take the law into their own hands by pepper spraying and kidnapping all of us. My husband and I was taken to jail. My child was given to a stranger in foster care for no reason at all. There was no crime committed. There was no ticket given. Me and my husband were both not on probation or on parole. There was no reason to violate our Fourth Amendment rights of no search and seizure. The main problem with my life story is we have to focus on the policing of families, using violence and discrimination. Even though my family was attacked, we still deserve to have reunification. I wasn't allowed to see my child for the first year of CPS having her. I seen her for about 5 times. Then COVID hit, and they shut down the courts. I couldn't go to court, I couldn't see her, no visits. I didn't know anything of what was going on in the case. It wasn't until 2 years after where CPS gave a court order that I should be visiting my child. I tried to get into the courtroom, but they wouldn't let me in. For 2 years, in the desert, I sat in the courtroom from 8 until 4, hoping and waiting that they would let me in. I recorded myself hoping that they would allow me to reunite with my child, but they didn't. They decided to give me 1 month, 1 day out of 1 month a visit with my child. The biggest issue I had is that I'm from San Francisco, and I had to go all the way down to Los Angeles to see my child. They helped with no resources. They did not try to do anything to help reunify us. I was just traveling through Southern California. Palmdale Department of Child Family Services was not helpful at all. What I needed to do to reunify with my child, they did not help me with the resources or anything that I could possibly do to reunify with Jemiah Max Smith. I would do anything. Please allow California families to reunify. Services should not be, We should all have the right to reunify. Child Protective Services should not be an extension of the police system. They should be helping families, not harming them. My name is Matisha York, and I'm also known as Maya. I am a loving and giving mother. I love my children unconditionally, and I will always love you, J. Maya, no matter what the system says. I don't care. They will never break my spirit. They will never break my family's bond. And for that, we will need to stop the policing of families. For they will not stop the healing for my family to get happiness. And I will do everything in my power to make sure my children feel the same way. I will not be a product of my environment, and I will not allow my child to do the same. No, we are not satisfied. And we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. Martin Luther King, Washington, D.C., 1963. And this leads me to my main question of why? Why? Oh, why? Stop, families. Happy birthday, J. Maya. I love you. Come home.
Happy birthday, J. Maya. Yes. Happy birthday, Jemiah.
You know, she was past time, but sometimes you just gotta have more time, right?
Yes.
You know, let the moment dictate some time, right? Next, give it up for Maya too, y'all. One of the words that was used was parental bond. We gotta keep that parental bond. Generation after generation after generation. Next, I want to call up the founder of California Justice and Conservatorship Impacting. Venus Gist! Give it up for Venus Gist, y'all!
Conservatorship letter! Keep families together!
Keep families together, that's right. Whew, this is painful. I love you too. Thank you, Michelle, for giving me the opportunity. All of you who are in support of keeping families together. My name is Venus Gist. I'm from Alameda County, born in Berkeley, raised in Hayward. And it's just unbelievable that a system has been devised to destroy. It makes no sense. I want to read this because this is what soothes me. I'm with Shantae, God's Word. I don't know your belief system, but all I can say is He helps. Psalms 121, give me a second. I lift my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, who watches over Israel will never slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. Oh, I know it's painful, families, to have your children taken away. California Justice Advocacy, we deal with the opposite spectrum, end of the spectrum, which is our seniors. The probate courts are doing the same thing to the seniors, taking their assets, putting them in facilities, substandard facilities, letting them sit there and decline and deteriorate while they drug them up, and then place restraining orders against families so you can't see your loved ones, your mom, your dad, because of sometimes it's family conflict. And it's just inhumane what they're doing. And we need to talk to Newsom face to face. Governor Newsom, we command you, demand, ask, request, pray that you talk to us. He's the leader of California right now. You see him everywhere. He needs to talk about this subject, this topic. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Our babies, mothers. I'm not from that school where they just take your babies away. This is new to me. How can a stranger be the best parent for your child? A stranger. How can you criminalize the parents and then the system, the dirty cops, and the system is abusing them in the system, sexually, emotionally? Makes no sense. And killing them. And that's what they're doing to our elderly. They're killing them in the system. So they can say, oh, they were old, they died, they put them on drugs, put them in a facility, let them decline, and then, oh, they just died of old age. It's a lie from the pit of hell. It's terrible and it's pathetic. And Governor Newsom, we call you out right now. I hope you see this. My name is Venus Gifts with Michelle Chan and the whole team. Not only is this happening in CPS and APS, it's happening in DDS, the disability, and then of course the criminal justice system, which in Alameda County, we vote for Pamela Price to change the status quo. You'll see her in my shirt, you'll see some of her signs around. I canvass for Pamela Price because she's a criminal justice attorney who wants to make a difference. She's a civil rights leader, and she also studied at Harvard and made a difference amongst the women when professors were propositioning them, I'll give you an A if you sleep with me. Pam said, no, 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 at a young age, it made a difference in the court system. They'll try to abuse the people every which way. It's sick. And it's up to us to stop it, to cease the actions that are inappropriate in California, and it's happening nationwide. There's two movies you may have seen, I Care a Lot, and there's another documentary film called The Guardians by Billy Mintz. And that'll give you an idea of what's happening in the probate court system with our families there and our seniors. And then CPS, we're very clear, this must stop. Our babies, and then our seniors. The beginning and the end. They found a way to monopolize on them and make money. And it's sick. So I'm not going to stay up here long. I just am glad to be here for your support. I'm in Alameda County, California Justice. We're working to make a difference. Recently, our grand jury, Michelle is aware of this, that our grand jury is investigating the public guardian and the conservatorships there. That's where the trouble is, the fiduciaries and the conservators. They're in control many times, and they take advantage of these situations. You know, we have quite a few advocates on this side. We do need to join together to make a difference. And that just breaks my heart. Your baby. How do you sleep at night when someone does this? I know when my mom was in a facility, just so you know, my mom passed away on Thanksgiving Day last year, but at home. Because we went in on, that was February, time is going by, February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2018. And we took her out of the facility against the court order because she would have died in the care of that conservator in Alameda County Berkeley Court, Judge Thomas Reardon and Kirsten Voiles and Ruben Sundin, and they all worked together. Ruben Sundin, he was the conservator's attorney, Berkeley commissioner, now he just became judge. So it's all the good old boys club working together. And unfortunately now, my parents have both passed away, but now my family wants to go back to court because they don't want me to be the trustee now. So, a court again, can you ever stay out of the system? And I'm trying, let's work together. You know what we went through. Let's not go to court. Let's work together, family. My nephew Brandon, trying to talk to him. Nobody's listening. I don't want to go to court anymore. We're done. Our case was one of the few cases that was commenced and completed. And that's because I had a great paralegal who knew how to write her butt off. If you ever want to know, maybe she'll help you. But all to say is God bless you all. This is just breaks my heart. I've had some tough days because what I'm going through, and I know you guys have even tougher days missing your babies. And I just ask that God bless you, protect you, and thank you for having me. Thank you, Michelle, for this again. I'll be ready with all my stuff next time, Michelle, my logo, my brand, so that we can stomp together. God bless you, amen.
Give it up for Venus Just. Straight out the universe. To Earth. Yes. So next, I want to call up another impacted mother from Colusa County, Barbara Bernard. Yeah, my mama's name is Barbara, so I gotta have love for her.
My name is Barbara Bernard. I live in the small rural county of Colusa in Northern California. I'm here today to ask for your help in saving the children who have been seized by CPS and to reunite these children with their families. The Adoption and Safe Family Act of 1997 is a law that outlines the financial profiting of CPS by taking children from their families. This law literally uses the words incentive and bonus when referring to the money that is paid to the county and the foster parents for these children by state and federal funds. If a child is placed with family in kinship care, the county and the family barely receive any money. However, if the child is placed with strangers in a foster home, the county and foster parents profit greatly. While the money paid to the counties can vary, in California, foster parents make, on average, $1,000 to $2,600 per month per child, tax-free. On top of this monthly check, foster parents also receive the maximum amount possible in food stamps and cash aid for each child. There are also several programs that help with clothing and other expenses. The Adoption and Safe Families Act of 1997 requires counties to seize more and more children each year. If the number of children seized by CPS decreases, they run the risk of losing their funding. This practice leads to children being forcibly taken from their families for no legitimate reason, and to social workers fabricating lies to keep the children in the system. These children are then placed in the homes of total strangers where they are emotionally and mentally abused, and sometimes worse. Some are forced to take psychotropic drugs at a very young age. Many of these cases are overturned without any finding of guilt or wrongdoing, oftentimes after the child has already been adopted. One of the bonuses in this law is the adoption incentive bonus. This is the money that the county and the foster parents are paid when the child is adopted. This money is not paid if the child is returned to their family, even if that family member adopts the child. CPS says that their goal is family reunification, but their practices prove otherwise. Not only does CPS use children for profit, which is human trafficking, but they also have no oversight or accountability. This agency that literally has the power to destroy children and families is not held accountable to anyone. This has allowed them to wield unbelievable power within the community. Families are torn apart based on hearsay, lies, perjury, fraud, and the denial of due process, things that would never be allowed in any other court. CPS hides behind a cloak of anonymity. CPS judges do not allow court observers in to guarantee that families' rights are protected. This secrecy has led to CPS being allowed to continuously violate the constitutional, HIPAA, and civil rights of families and children. I am here today to ask for your help in saving the children who have been seized by CPS and to reunite these children with their families. Please look into the Adoption and Safe Families Act of 1997. This law needs to be fixed to truly promote family unity. I also ask that you help the families that are currently struggling in the system to reunite and to provide them the resources that they need in order to reunite. Thank you.
Give it up for Barbara Bernard. Yes. I like what she said, right? We need family unity in community. Say it with me. Family unity. Family unity. Because without family, there is no community. Next, I want to call up Vanessa de la Cruz.
So I've done protesting before for friends and family members of mine. I feel like I'm being victimized by Yolo County CPS because of that. But I'm not going to go into my story. But I want to encourage each and every one of you guys to do is create a biological parent support group within your community. And through this, you will get to know what workers are the workers that they use to kill your case. Because there are certain workers that they use. I've learned in my biological parent support group. Sorry, I'm due in 3 weeks. And talk to your board of supervisors and start making your voices known. Because they cannot silence us and they cannot keep the truth from coming out. And get to know the other parents that have open cases and support them and encourage them. Because what they are doing is they're victimizing the victims. They're victimizing us. They know about our past traumas and our childhoods, and they're using that and bringing it up in court and re-traumatizing us. And they're getting us to act in a way where we are emotionally stable. You took my children, and then you want to learn all these horrible things that happened to me as a child and throw it in my face and expect me not to react? That's not okay. Learn their games. Get to know the games that they're playing with other parents and be smart. Parents, be smart and get to know each and every other parent here because they're using a formula. It's a formula to get us. They get us when we're down, and they take us to these programs, and we learn about the red flags and, trauma bonding. But you want me to trauma bond with this social worker that is telling me everything's cool, and when I get in court, it's another thing? That's not all right. Don't play with our heads. It's not okay, so be smart and get to know everybody and create your parent support group in your community and get to know the community and go to church and pray. And pray. I know it's hard. I know you want to be like, I can't do this anymore, God. Why? Why aren't you hearing my prayers? But He hears and He suffers with you. He don't want us to suffer. But these are lessons that we learn and we have to go through to make us stronger as parents. And some of us, I know a lot of my sisters already lost their kids, and I'm being TPR'd right now. They're TPRing me because I wanted to co-parent with my baby's dad. I wanted her to know his voice, so when they take her into his visits, she could know his voice. Now they're trying to make me not have morals, make me be heartless like them. It's deeper. Pray to your God. Pray to God and encourage your other parents. Encourage them not to drink. Encourage them not to smoke. Because that's what's going to help us. None of us are alone. Look around you. And I see all of you, and I'm praying for all of you. I didn't want to come today because they retaliate. They might take my baby, they might not. But you know what? I had to mentally prepare myself and use all the tools that all of these programs taught me. Gotta go into my toolbox and teach your kids these things too, because they're gonna be victimized by these same people. It's a money thing. It's a money thing. Let's be smart and support each other. And didn't know what I was gonna say, but that's what God put on my heart to say, and I love each and all of you guys. Thank you.
That was all natural, man. You know what, too? It came from the heart, and I felt the sun shine on me a little bit thicker when she was talking, y'all. And now it's kind of covering back up. So she was bringing out the light. Also, before I call up our next speaker, what I want to say too is that was civic engagement. She was teaching a lot of civic education. And you know what civic education is? It's learning how your community and neighborhoods operate within your city. And then you need to learn about the state. You got city, you got county, you got state, you got federal. But you also got people. We're a part of this too. We're a part of this shit. And don't let them forget it. Next up, I want to call Ben. Cool Ben. Uncle Ben, come on.
If a family is in crisis, should CPS make that crisis worse or better? Right? Yeah. My name is Ben Winger. I'm a CPS impacted father. I am also a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, and I have autism. I am hoping that we could get some help to get our children returned and better safeguards in place for families to be protected from CPS. After giving birth, not me, but the mother of my child, she developed a condition known as postpartum psychosis. And that is like a psychotic state induced from the giving birth, the hormonal changes after. We dealt with that for months. And one day, we got a call from CPS. And that week that they got involved, that they said she couldn't come home, she recovered. We had mental health team involved. They told CPS that she was good, that they had no concerns at this point. And CPS did not listen to the experts on mental health in the situation. She was removed from the home, in which part we had to pay $1,000 a month in increased rent for 3 months. CPS refused to provide any support and refused to provide the criteria on the basis of which she was removed from the home. And that's when I decided, after 3 months, after the mental health team having no concerns, to bring her home. And that's when my daughter was removed from my care. And that's the beginning of my case. That is just one issue I face with CWS, as we have faced a myriad of issues. So the problem is that CPS destroys families without giving them even a chance. And we could solve that by providing resources to families, and that we could also solve that by providing protections for families, like the criminal court standards, onto juvenile dependency courts. Thank you very much.
Give it up for Ben! Uncle Ben! Also, as I said before, we have somebody out here doing voter registration. Go to the woman in the blue if you need to be registered to vote. And November the 8th is election day. And also, you know, we got a lot of ladies in blue out here. We got a few. I want to give it up to the ladies in blue. Something spiritual with that. But Yeah, give it up to the ladies in blue. Not the boys in blue. But next I want to call up Robbie Powson. Come on up. He's a leader and community organizer. He's got a great sign he's been holding up all this time. Keep families together!
Stop selling children!
Keep families together! Give it up for Robbie!
Yeah. Basically, I'm just coming, feel so encouraged to see everybody today. Always coming out here and hearing all this testimony it really is empowering. And I think the thing I want to share is my personal testimony about what we've been doing in the Bay Area around restraining orders against local governments, police, without attorneys. The first year, we've been fighting in the camps in Marin County for a minute. In the first year, we were just protesting, sit-ins. We were really, just running around, trying to get meetings. But all this, finally we got the California Homeless Union and Anthony Prince down there. Filed some big lawsuits that we've just settled. We've got a lot of, we got people in our campus, Sausalito, 18 grand a piece for housing assistance. We got people up in Nevada. We got a semi-permanent camp. But what happened along the way is we learned about these pro se restraining orders, where we just started filing. We had these police that were so belligerent, and they said just like CPS, so belligerent, so unmindful of the law, just so used to get in their way, manhandling people. And these police, they just waddle in, and they just do whatever they want. They would just break the law, and they do this over and over again. And finally, because we had gone through these lawsuits and we had kind of like a template, we just took them out. We took out those old ones that the attorney read up, and we just started kind of adjusting them. We'd adjust them. We filed a lawsuit in federal court with a motion for restraining order, just following the template, following those rules, 65 Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, and we just started winning restraining orders. We would write lawsuits and motions for restraining order in like 4 hours. Take it to court, we get a restraining order the same day. But just like last week on Richardson Bay, the Bay Conservation Development Commission, another state agency that's trying to eradicate people living out on Richardson Bay, they've destroyed 100 boats. They've left dozens of people homeless. And recently, we got this new skill set. Last couple of boats they've been coming through, we just say, just take them to court. Just write it up and take it there. And so that's why I wanted to bring that's what we've been learning, is that you get the basics down and you can do it. You can get restraining orders, immediate injunctive relief. Don't get drawn out. And so I kind of wanted to bring that encouragement in terms of, I see a similar vein here in CPS. I don't know exactly what it looked like, but I know there's some people that have some cases. And when you can catch CPS, when you can catch the government doing something that's clearly illegal, that causes irreparable harm, balance of equities tips sharply in your favor, answer the public's interest, you can get a restraining order the very same day you file that in court. That's what we've been doing. And we're going to keep on filing these restraining orders. And I think that in general, anybody wants to talk about that, and everybody got some cases and knowledge they want to share. We file these lawsuits as like building collective knowledge that we can share. And that's why I want to work with, Wes over there, California Homeless Union, about how do we train, definitely training our folks living outside, living in vehicles, living in boats, to be able to file these restraining orders yourselves when these police get on you. But also, I don't see why the same doesn't apply for CPS. I don't see why it wouldn't apply to property owners getting attacked by code enforcement, putting their lives in jeopardy. There's lots of common interests that the government is irreparably harming people without due process. And there's a whole bunch of different places, right? Probate, someone's talking about probate. That's another instance where there's irreparable harm being done with no process. So I'll be standing around and welcome people that are inclined in that. I'm looking for other people that are inclined to see what would that look like. The encampments can get restraining orders, motorhomes can get restraining orders. Why can't children be protected by restraining orders against these egregious overreaches? So thank you, and I I hope that we can make something productive happen. Thank you.
Give it up. I can just listen to Robbie talk, man. He's so cool, man. Do you sing country western, brother? Hey, he got the coolest. He got the heart of a poet. but you know, I loved it though, right? Because you can catch the government with their pants down. You really can, though, y'all. Because you know, they just count on us taking no for an answer and not having no accountability. If you don't fact check them and you don't come with your community and people, government gonna do what they want to do. And if you look around, you got people from all types of different communities. We're here together with common interests of family and community. Now, as I said before, an old trick in politics is the whole thing with me being from my community means I'm against your community. That's how they want you to see it, so we don't have common interests. But actually, when you start paying attention, black community, white community, Latino community, Asian community, we got common interests, y'all, for the common voice. So next, I want to call up, he's the founder of Founding Fathers, and also organizer and Cold Tenderloin. You bring out your camera now. Anyway. He also does financial literacy. He's a culture creator. His name is Elgin, not Baylor, but he's a rose that grew out of the concrete.
Hey, how y'all doing? I just wanted to piggyback off what they were saying to all y'all mothers and fathers out here that feel defeated by the system. Y'all matter, and definitely don't give up, even if it seems like it's a brick wall. It's a lot of people that we could collectively get together with and challenge big monsters like this. And I'm gonna even throw welfare into the picture too. About 3 years ago, I was homeless on K Street out here in Sacramento. I came out here because I was kind of like embarrassed in San Francisco. And I told my twins' mother that I wouldn't leave this city because we would definitely find housing. And I failed that, and I didn't find housing. And I had a 500 credit score, and I couldn't figure it out. And then it kind of like withered away. She moved back with her mom, and fast forward to the day I ended up moving back to San Francisco. I started an organization called Fathers to Founders, and that's basically me transitioning from just like a regular dad to something more in their life and participating and contributing. And that's where the financial literacy part come in, is not running from child support, because if I had the money, I wouldn't even want somebody like you sweating my mailbox or telling me you know my kid better than me when you don't even know my child. They got serial numbers in courts. And so just that distance of not being, now I'm out, now I'm still seeing my children not in the house, but I'm seeing them on weekends, and that's so devastating. It's so devastating to have to see your kids so periodically or let somebody else dictate. So, but one thing I'm learning is, as I keep moving down confidence, and we all got to share that same confidence, we can defeat that. I don't know, I had a hiatus where I was homeless for that 1 year, but I was blessed to fall into a good job, and a lot of other people that helped me get where I'm at today, but I still got a lot to do, and and I'm thankful for being here today to hear stories that's similar, because all our paths is similar, all the solutions is similar. Like the guy that just got off the microphone says, there's ways that we can defeat them. I don't care what y'all say. It's an American way, and it's community way that we can come together and we can just gotta be louder. We can't take no for an answer. So kudos to everybody that came out here, and we came in small numbers, but we came in with a powerful voice, and I'm open to network and just share, and however I can be helpful in everybody's life here. Thank you.
Give it up for Elgin, the rose that came out of the concrete. I made it sound like he was that sounded cool, huh? Yes. The Elgin, the rose that came out of the concrete. Yeah, so another thing too, right? Because everybody is at least going to talk to 10 other people. So if I made a politician and he was an asshole, I'm at least probably going to tell 10 people, that guy's an asshole. So remember, right, it's strength in numbers. If they see 10 of us, they see 100 of us. If they see 50 of us, they see 500 of us. If they see 1,000 of us, they see the tens and thousands. So remember that, you know, when you organize it. That's a little bit of political science. And with that, give it up for Michelle Chan for organizing this plan. And right now, you know, does anybody else want to say anything? We don't have any more scripted speakers. All right, I got her first, then I got you next, brother. Amen. 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 And I mean what I say.
Thank you all. I'm waiting to come up here. I tend to talk a little fast with a brain injury, so if I talk too fast, let me know. One thing I wanted to say, I'm very proud of y'all. You guys did a good job. There's been a lot of heartfelt things up here said, and it needs to be said, and it needs to be spread real fast, because we need our children back. I have fought tooth and nail for my kids for 18 years now, and I'm not going to give up. As I've told Michelle, I was raised in the foster care system. I've worked for the foster care agencies. I have worked for social services, and I am sick and tired of watching them corrupt us and trying to divide us. It's ridiculous, and we just need to get more people up together about this. People get mad about someone kneeling to the flag. Why are people mad about kids being gone? For real, we all just need to unite. I don't know, I'm surprised that there's not way more people here. I am surprised there's not thousands of people angry right now, storming the streets. You know, and we need that. They've been pushing us and pushing us and pushing us for years. For, over 100 years. Think about it, guys. The first entire genocide of this country, what they do, they went and took the children. They went and raped the women. They killed everyone. They're still doing it today. It has not changed. Slavery is still happening today. They just call it legal. The prison systems, it's all slavery. I am in the streets all the time working for people, helping them. And you know what? 98% of them were fucked by the system. You know why? Because they wanted something they had, and most of them had children. I literally just helped someone yesterday because their tent got destroyed and they got thrown out into the street. They're already living in the street. They had their kids. The cops didn't care. The only thing they said was, "We're not breaking your shit." Yeah. I've talked to hundreds of women in jails that all they do is cry because they don't get to see or talk to their kids. And they're there because they try to stand up for them. And one thing I've not heard today, the school system, public school system is ruining our kids. They're turning them against us. They're turning them into more zombies. How many people actually know their rights? You're not taught that in school. That is something we should be taught in school. 100%. And we'll keep going and on, so thank you guys, until next.
Give it up for her, yes, yes. You know, and then, you know, before I call up our next speaker, you know, I've been calling him Batman, but, you know, because he kind of looked like Christian Bale, you know. But we got to let Gavin the Newsom, we got to write Gavin the Newsom, right? And we all can. Hey, if you got email him. Email Nancy Pelosi. That's your Speaker of the House and your representation for California. And send it in droves and send it with the same message, right? Because then they respond to the numbers. With that, I want to call up my next brother with his partner coming up here with him, you know, his little homie. Yes, yes. We want to hear his voice.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Marcus. I've been dealing with CPS since 2014. I got double fucked from the department, from the social workers, and my attorney. We start off saying I'm legally blind and have a developmental disability. When I started CPS, when I started going through the court system, I told my attorney about my disability, showing the paperwork. He never informed me about disability accommodations. Fast forward to like a year and a half, about a year and a half after my third child, Denonicus, was born, I had all my services completed. I was waiting for mother just to get her service completed. So So the social worker talked to us after my daughter was born. After she talked to us, we ended up being under a family maintenance plan. My kids were supposed to come back with me while my mother went to rehab. My mother would go inpatient, help me get back my kids. Went to court. Social worker never put none of that down. Told my attorney, he said he wasn't going to say nothing. So a couple of months go by. I had an eye injury at the time, so I had to get that taken care of. So me and mother separated in 2016. So we can get our kids back. We didn't want to lose them. I told my attorney, showed him all the paperwork, and he said he wasn't going to fill out a modification form. So kids got adopted during that time, which what I didn't know at the time was called ADA Title I Disability Accommodations. I never knew that. So when
Okay, brother. It's okay, brother.
So when that happened, so when that happened, I was like, all right. And then when my second case happened was the day, since the case wasn't finalized, they automatically took it. Got the same attorney. Told me they want to represent me. He said I found out you were supposed to help me. Same thing happened with the previous case because case wasn't finalized yet. My third case. Now hold on here. My third case was a Marcus Jr. I found out disability accommodation through Rosie. She told me about it, so I filled out the accommodation form. So I got accommodations for my son with Marcus Jr. My case for the day it was closed. Marcus Jr. Everything was fine. Mother tested negative, son tested negative, but they took him. That was medical kidnapping. They shouldn't have took him. All right. To make a long story short, I filled out accommodations for Marcus Jr.'s case and a couple other his sibling cases. So what I'm gonna try to do is, it's called a writ of quorum, a writ of error. I'm gonna try to get the judgment set aside because I got accommodations for Marcus Jr. in his brothers and sisters cases, but I didn't get it for my first two cases. If I would have got accommodations for him, then my attorney couldn't refuse not to help me. So I'm gonna see if I can get it set aside and get a new trial.
Amen. We're gonna be praying for you, Marcus.
So hopefully, we can change the game.
Yes.
It's fitting that we're here at the Capitol building. So let's all rise up together.
Hey man, he went right to my soul. Hey, but give it up for Brother Marcus though. Hey, I know that brother be up in the club, get to talking to, hey baby, my name is Marcus, you know. So hey, do you write poetry? My guy right here, he got the shades, so I don't like me. He's gotta be cool, man.
Hi you guys, I gotta choose my words very carefully because I'm in the midst of this madness going on. I'm doing court stuff and I haven't had to deal with CPS. Family court has done me enough where they've taken my kids from me and, through a whole bunch of garbage and false evidence, and I'm just getting hammered, and it's been a couple of years. And I just wanted personally to say thank you to Michelle. I met her in May. I came out here for the first time, and I was touched. I was touched by this group, and I've talked to a lot of people here, and I've asked them if they've ever read Michelle's poem, Shadows. And if you haven't, please do, because it is awesome. I still, to this day, I can't read it and make it through without losing it completely. So thank you, Michelle. And, we got to do something to change this. And the only way that we could do it is by coming together and uniting and being one group and making our voice heard. So just thank you for coming and keep coming and bring more people and let's make our voices heard. All right, thank you.
Thank you, my friend. All right, Sister Maya, take us higher. We gonna fly ya. Just talking to the choir.
I wrote this poem back when I was in foster care. My family's been in foster care for generations after generations. This is how I felt as a child. I was in high school at the time. And I think my child might be feeling the same way, and possibly you guys' children as well. The poem is called Why. Why life gotta be so hard? Why the government put us in slavery and call it a job? Why these drugs gotta be so addictive? Why do so many people choose habits over their children? Why the streets gotta be so hood? Why we live in a society that ain't all good? Why the dealers scatter like mice? Why the police gotta be so cold like ice? Why the media won't let reality be? Why is there so much drama and kids do what they see? Why do opposites attract? Why do unhealthy relationships make us feel trapped? Why do everybody seem to be trying to make a profit? Why don't nobody care about hungry people? They only worried about filling up their pockets. Why do people work so hard only to retire? Why do they take our currency and put it on fire? Why is the USA in debt? Why do we take risk when you say you want to bet? Why love don't love no one? Why no one understand how life begun? Why do we have to go through dark to get to light? Why people can't be peaceful, they always want to fight? Why do people act like they don't know their rights from wrong, especially when they take all the negative and put it in a song? Why we can't just all get along? Why? Oh, why? I don't know if y'all know that song, but they got me in the system. Why they gotta do me like that? I try to make it my way. I get sent on up the highway. Why? Oh, why? Thank you, everyone.
Why they gonna do me like that? We had Maya coming with the spirit of Angelo. Free J Maya! Free J Maya! Free J Maya! Free J Maya! Say it, y'all! Free! 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 J Maya! Free our children! All right, so free Bobby! My guy in all black, you gotta let the guys in all black, man. Hey, shouts out to my guy right there. He been doing a tough job. He had to be the bad guy like Tony Montana.
Good afternoon. This is great having everybody here. Just like always, wish more people were here, but we'll go with what we got. We're still part of building a movement, and there's always movements, more time to do that. Nelson Mandela said there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. To that great statement, I always add, and this country, and almost every country in the world, has failed miserably. I often find it hard to believe that I live in a country that allows the kidnapping and trafficking of children by courts, government agencies, law enforcement, etc., and of course ignoring the true best interests of the child. It is shameful, it is criminal, and it needs to change now. Why does the system do it? That's simple, for profit and greed. That revenue I call blood money. Most of you here know all too well about the horrors of the anti-family courts, CPS, parental alienation, child support scams, and the pain and suffering caused by all of that. We all value our children and families, and that's why we fight them in these crazy systems. For too long, the system has abused parents and children. The pain of loss, the pain of shattered dreams, the pain of emptiness, and more is something we all have in common. The prevailing belief that to fight for fathers' rights or to fight for non-custodial parents or to fight for child support reform is a fight against mothers against children. In fact, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means that fathers too, and all parents in general, love their children and want to be with them, and so they fight for them by any means necessary. Just look at the people in the crowd who've shown up today. Fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters. We even have a couple of dogs here, and I've seen some kids. It is time to rise up, show up, and act decisively to let those in power, they're not in this building, they're behind that building over there in new offices, that we will not allow our children to be sacrificed on the altar of greed. It is time to take back our children and unite with them. It is time to bring our children home. That is the best healing that could ever be. Are you with me? Yes! My story is somewhat complex, though similar in some ways to so many others. It includes the many violations that many of you have experienced in court, plus more. It also includes felony crimes, not done by me. From my being physically assaulted, my daughter's being assaulted by a minors counsel in the case in her office in a meeting. Was she punished? Of course not. I was punished instead, losing my non-custodial visitation time and getting ordered to supervise visitation and anger management, and more. The judge reported, I reported to the judge what the minors counsel did, and as he was supposed to report it, of course, he didn't. Did the 12 to 13 other judges do their duty regarding the matter? I brought it up every single time we had a fucking hearing. Of course not. And I gave them, cited the Commission on Judicial Performance. I cited the code the Code of Civil Procedure, which is essentially their law under which they have a duty and a responsibility. They didn't do anything. They all covered up felony crimes and retaliated against me for speaking the truth and for filing relevant legal claims that were trampled on, including the Sheriff's Department. I paid my child support even though I was living on a small disability check from Social Security and struggling financially each month. I paid a larger sum than ordinarily required via the Disamaster calculator, as my child support payment was taken out of my disability check in Washington, D.C. every month, before I even got mine. I had to submit documents from Social Security 3 different times because my ex-in attorney kept lying that I wasn't paying child support. A judge finally had to reprimand them about this, and he did that after I called them liars. In truth, though, I always believed that true child support was spending quality time with your child. Nothing could ever replace that. Otherwise, it seemed like you were paying extortion money or bribery money in order to see your own kids. And that's crazy, paying to see your own kids. At one time, I was known as a hands-on dad. Even when I developed a disability, I still was the father of my children and was present for them. My kids were my main focus, and I wanted to instill in them the many things, the many gifts a father, a parent can give to their kids, and many more things that I believe they should have in their toolkit of life. Over time, I was cut off from seeing my daughters completely, alienated by my ex who used the courts via her attorney and the minors counsel, and I went 8.5 years without seeing my daughters or having contact with them. The effects on my children was devastating. There wasn't a day that went by where I didn't think of my daughters or work toward fighting for them and hoping the nightmare of separation and non-contact would soon end, but it didn't. That's my sign right there, Julia and Laura, I'm here for you. Daddy loves you, I will never stop fighting for you. I do see my daughters now, but I'll get to that after. And that sign has been in the movie Divorce Corp. It's been out there when we used to hold candlelight vigils and Bubbles of Love events at the Capitol over there and everything for years. It's probably from 2008. More about that part later. The term deadbeat dads is a misnomer term made up by the media to smear fathers who either couldn't meet their child support obligations, often through no fault of their own, or some fathers in the minority who didn't pay, and they set a bad example. Most fathers required to pay child support pay it, especially the ones that get to see their kids, though not all fathers get to see their kids. What the media didn't do was to investigate what was really taking place in the court system. The fraud, the corruption, the perjury, the racketeering, which essentially is a bigger picture. And why? Why didn't they do that? It seems like only a celebrity divorce or celebrity custody battle fires up the media for story after story. It sells news. Now back to my story. In August 2017, I drove up to Oregon to see my daughters a few days after they had turned 18. They texted me a couple of months earlier. One of my daughters sent me a text. I had no idea who it was. I didn't recognize the number. And she said, oh, I've been in Renton, Washington on vacation, and I went to Jimi Hendrix's grave. I remember that we used to listen to Jimi Hendrix and stuff, and you played all that music. I'm going, this sounds like one of my daughters, you know? Whatever, so I texted back, and sure enough it was, and then both of them did, and they said they really wanted to see me. So August 2017, I waited till they turned 18 because nobody was gonna stop me. Drove all the way. I had to stop in Oregon after driving about 5-6 hours because I was falling asleep at the wheel. I pulled into a parking lot at a casino nearby there. Went into the bathroom, washed my face and stuff, went into my car, got an hour's sleep, and then I zipped up towards the Portland area. We spent several days together, listened to music, talked about some great past memories, listened to a lot of music, and they told me about their current lives. I especially avoided all talk of family court, their mother and all that stuff. A few months after seeing both of them, one of them decided she didn't want to have anything to do with me, and she still won't communicate with me. My other daughter seemed willing to work on our relationship and see how it goes. In 2018, I went to this daughter's high school graduation in Oregon. My daughters are identical twins. I was a very proud father. My other daughter was in the building, having graduated too, but she stayed near her mother and grandmother. I didn't go up to her, and she didn't come to me because she had told her sister, the one I talked to, she didn't want to have any communication with me and wanted me to respect that. The one daughter and I who phone each other, text each other, and we have also seen each other for the past few years. In fact, she's coming, I'm gonna stay at my house next week, and she said to me, Daddy, can I stay at your place? I said, mi casa, su casa. I said, but I like the fact that you still ask. And I said, of course. I said, I've got a bowl for your dog. I said, I've adopted her dog as like my grandchild. And I've got biscuits and all that kind of stuff. Some difficulty still exists on her part, though she sometimes is willing to express it and talk about it with me. And so I, of course, lapse into my role as the loving, caring dad who listens to her. Me, I'm just happy to have one of my daughters back in my life while keeping the door open for the other one. All that happened to me in the court labyrinth helped shape me into the activist that I am today, fighting for parental and children's rights and against the anti-family courts and CPS. I've been doing it since 2007. I couldn't think of a more noble endeavor. Remember, children are our future, and for society now and in the future. We'll all be affected by what happens to them. Some of that shaping is up to you, so get busy. I hope you two are fortunate enough to have an Oregon trip in your future. Bless you, and thank you.
Give it up for him. Yeah, I'm done, y'all. But give it up for him now, y'all. Yes.
Keep family together.
Stop selling the children.
Stop selling children.
Stop selling children.
Keep families together. Stop selling children. Stop selling children. Keep families together.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming.
Yes, sir.
Let's keep doing this.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle.
That's it.
Stop selling children.
Hey, say it. Family rights are fundamental. Yeah. Family rights are fundamental. Yeah. Say it with me. Use the megaphone.
Children have rights. Keep families
uniting, that we're not putting up with this anymore. So come on, guys.
Stop selling the children! Keep families together! 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 Stop selling children! Stop selling children! Keep families together! 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 No justice! No peace! 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 Stop selling children! Keep families together! 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 Stop selling children! Stop selling children!